Yeah. You guys tonight. I'll let you get in here. Had a couple people ask about the reveal, and it's just cool. Uh, I know you watched. I didn't. I didn't post anything pretty unique yet. I love that she watches and does that. No, do not mind at all. I usually don't say when I'm going live because I'm afraid I'd get too shy and start snap and all that. So uh, let me bring up my iPad here. Mhm. Lisa Baker, Skater Guy, what's happening? Emmy McLean, how are you? See my skin colored, white skin colored bracelet that I have. I just saw it when I was on the iPad there. I always lag. I'm like 30 seconds behind. Working at a golf course will get you some image. My boss came out one day and was like, "What are you doing? Working on your tan?" I was, "Heck yeah." So the other night, 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago now, we did the side fan roll, and we were going to do the results. Um, yeah, pretty much. I'll go. My wife works at Bob Evans, and it's a rest. I don't know if it's all over the country or not, but it's like they're starting like down on the farm and stuff. So it's like home cooked food. And I went in there one day after work and it was all grassy. And she was like, "Why you come in here looking like that?" And I was like, "Well, I thought we were down on the farm. I mean, I was cutting grass. I had grass on me." All right. So the other night we did the side fan rolls. We did two of them. We did die over and die under. So the first shirt we did, we did die over, and then we thought, hey, let's do a reveal, or let's do a another one, do die under, and see what happens. See what the difference in the the outcome. You know what I mean? Uh, so we did. This is the die over. Little splashes down here because on the side it does like the look, kind of like the lotus look. Pretty cool way to get it on the other one too. So I don't know if it'll just going to kind of do it on all of them. But so this is the die over. Remember, I cut my tag for the die, or this is the die under. I cut my tag for the die over. Um, yeah, it doesn't look too bad, huh? Um, when I first poured it out, I wasn't like too stoked on it, but I do like the colors that come out of it. And now this was Mindbender B. I didn't have a whole lot of Mindbender X left. I'd been using a lot of it. Was getting quite a bit of orders for it. Um, so thank you, Grace. Thanks, Skater Tie Dye. Yeah, so this was the die over ice. Um, I would think Leaf will be coming on here. We're too long, Leaf. Welcome. think God came through. He didn't say anything, but he put a little dash. He's watching. Um, So I like the look of the center. There's a lot of times that when I'm doing a fan fold, actually folding it, um, and you can zoom in on that too. Um, I feel like I went to town on the die. Um, It's been a little while since I've used my Bender B. You remember I was telling you mine kind of throws out purples, and it did on this one. Now on the other one, not so much. So this was the die over, or the die under. I keep saying die over. This is the die over ice, and this was the die under the ice. And there's a big difference. There's not near as much purple. Uh, I have very surprised. Um, yes, the lines are much more detailed. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, say you can hear me if you don't mind, because sometimes that call will come through and disturb. Uh, okay. Uh, Sometimes a call will come through and it's actually before it's knocked me off. Um, so the awesome, thanks, Skater tie dye. Um, I really like the looks of this dye over the ice. Um, I wasn't expecting, like Skater tie dye says, it's much more defined. Now, if I was to watch the other night's video back, I would I can tell you I used a lot of dye on um, the dye over or the dye under the eye. I need to do an experiment where I use 3/4 of the amount, maybe, and because I always have residual dye sitting on top after the ice melts, which means I could put more ice on it and push it through more, which like we were saying the other night, the less dye you use, the more colors are going to come out. Now, I mean, it's going to be toned down. I did an experiment myself with a tall deep scrunch and the normal amount that I usually do, and then like half the amount. And the colors were cool, but it was a lot more muted. Um, So there was even residual dye sitting on top with the dye over the ice. I really like it. Uh, Not near as much purple, but the the skip marks are really cool. I worked at a window plant. We used to make the window sills and then ship them off to have the glass put in. And every now and then, I think if the temperature was either too hot or too cold. I can't remember. It's been a long time. When the uh, when the windowsills would come out, which was vinyl, it would kind of get it would chatter sometimes. They called it chattering, and it was just skipping, kind of glitching like across the windowsill. Um, so that's what this always reminds me of, like chattering, like it's glitching or you know, much more defined on the die over the ice than the die under the ice. So it's just half it before and see what we got. Now, remember, I went pretty heavy with this um, die under. Let's actually have it and we'll look at the center, the differences of the centers. Yeah. Much more defined, not as much purple, more plum color. Now there is purple in it, um, but it's a lot more subtle. It's more hidden, and it's like there's a little bit of turquoise down in the middle of the purple, which looks really cool. Just looking at it, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I really like it. I really like that. I went really heavy with this. I'm gonna rewatch it and because when I'm talking, I'm probably more apt to be doing. Here was the cut and the cut in it. So remember, we cut it so that we would know what was dye over, which it's pretty easy to tell, you know. So what do you guys think? Hey, Amanda, nice to see you. And you're good. I know you're 8 hours ahead of us. So you're, yeah, you're well, 2:30 in the morning or 11:30. Okay, 5 hours. Yeah, that's right. I always think eight. I don't know why, but um, the brew that came out, you rolled with awesome thanks. I like the movement on the diaber ice too. So I wonder if you put some dye under the ice band and then dye ever lightly on the whole thing. Absolutely, I do that with fan folds. With when I actually fold it, I'll do dye under and dye over. Um, Me and a buddy were down here, and he asked me if I was going to do dye over or dye under, and I yelled out both. Kind of cursed, but um, that I was going to do both, and then kind of stepped back and laughed and was like, "Well, we could totally do that, you know." So that's what we started doing, and sometimes I wonder if the shirt's not already saturated when, and then the dye over doesn't might not do a whole lot. Because I thought, maybe it would fill in any kind of white that would be left in the shirt, that might not, hit from the dye under with inclining it. Um, I don't know. We can try that too, Lisa, for sure. Thanks, Amanda, very much. They both have their place in design. They both are, it depends on the customer's taste. Absolutely. All right. Vonda, how you doing? Um, so yeah, I like both. They both have their thing. Now, if we go, where was the shirt? Oh, I should still have the shirt that I showed the other night as an example. It's it's these two. Now, I think I went a little lighter But this is Mindbender X, and that was Mindbender B. Looks more like the die over, but I was a little lighter handed with the example. This was the first one I did, and it was the large, which is what I wear, and I decided to keep it for myself. Um, yeah, Vonda, the die on over ice is on the right. Well, sorry, it's this one. See, my screen's backwards. YouTube has flipped it for some reason. I've looked into it, and other people have said the same thing. Um, I don't know, which kind of works for most people because they're right-handed. I'm left-handed. Uh, my left, yeah, yeah. Your left, your left is the die over, and then this one is the die under, and it's a lot darker. A lot more purples came out in it. So, but I was awfully heavy-handed. So I'm going to start. I need to do an experiment where I do half the dye that I usually use, and and see if I can't push it through. Not try not to dilute it. Everybody gets different results with all this ice dyeing, with all the ice dyeing. You know what I mean? So, um, I think out of these two shirts, I definitely like the dye over. I like this one. I need to pick the community's brain when you have a minute. I'm dyeing some baby bits for a close friend. Baby's flavors unknown. I don't have many pure colors to do rainbow. Need suggestions. I you don't have many pure colors to do the rainbow. So what do you do? See, I don't know. You'd have to see what colors you have. You know, what colors do you have? There you go, Leaf. So this, I'll show Leaf because he was here the other night. Um, okay, sorry. Um, you get different results when you switch it to the brand of shirts. Yes, I do. And I'm doing that kind of as we speak. I'm trying different shirts. And I was using the other night, I was using soft style, and those came out okay, Guild and soft style. I'm kind of wanting to hate to I don't know how to say it right. It's easy access for me to get Gildan. Um, I can go down to Michael's art store and get them for 2.99 a piece. And you know, they dye all right, you know. I used to use Gildan Ultra Cotton. They're a little more, but I have to order them, and sometimes I'm in a time crunch. But I'm trying to get away from Gildan's. When I first started, I got some Georges from Walmart, and I was just dyeing anything white when I first started. I could care less what it was. So I would get Hanes shirts, Fruit of the Loom shirts, just undershirts, nothing, not HD or nothing, just undershirts. And um, I would use George, and I wore one the other day when I first started, that I made when I first started. Love the feel of it. I think they're very underrated shirts. So I got some to try and to dye and see. just to see because I sell shirts for cheap. I don't sell them for expensive, very expensive at all. So I'm not trying to buy a $10, $15 blank, you know what I mean, to sell for cheap. So that's why I use Gildan. They're cheap and it's very easy access for me to get. Um, but here's the thing, and I'll try to see if there's any other questions. I was reading, let me get it. Uh, I've got my Gildan heavy cottons to actually feel like soft style. I don't know how you guys if you use Millsoft from Dharma. It I don't know if it's still Millsoft or not. We buy it by the gallon. I think we bought ended up buying like 3 or 4 or 5 gallons of it. Um, and I would always put it in my the little compartment um for softener, little softener compartment, and then during the rinse, it spits it out automatically. Some of it wasn't going all the way out of the compartment. I felt like it could have been messing with with my shirt, so I read the direction on this bottle, and I'll read it to you. Use this product to restore softness to fabric after dyeing. After dyeing, washing, and rinse, use 1/4 cup per 8 pounds in a washing machine load, or 1 teaspoon per gallon of water. Agitate for 10 minutes in hottest water, then rinse in warm water. So that's what I've been doing. I in a 5 gallon bucket, I'll put like the nights I'll I'll rinse my shirt, hand wash it, rinse it out, put hot water, a couple squirts of this in a pail of like a gallon of water, put my shirts in it and just kind of mix it around for like 15 to 20 minutes and they come out super soft. The Millsoft really does work good. Some I sold a shirt to a lady. I can't remember who it was, and she asked me, you know, what in the world they're super scratchy. And then I actually that's when I read my directions, and so I started doing a soap, Millsoft soap with really hot, not really hot tap water. So now my shirts are are soft. You know. Okay, I get loads of really random colors and still get all my happy cat. I got loads of really random colors and still got all my happy cat. Um, and you need to do see that's the thing about when somebody tells me the other night to you had an order for 5 shirts and the guy left me a little post-it notes on each shirt of what he wanted and they were the colors. And with ice dyeing, that's not the easiest, because all my colors split. Now, if somebody said, I'd like to have a shirt that's orange and green, then I know I can use Dragon's Egg and I got that covered. But not always the easiest when someone says, I'd like a shale blue and gray. I have to really kind of think about what my colors are doing and uh, use Dharma's ice dye little swatches on their website and stuff. But I don't know, Amanda. I mean, um, I got my red, my orange is tangerine. I got peach, which leans a little more coral. All my green split. I could still do rainbow and just accept the split, but baby stuff, tiny, not so much room to bloom. Yes, very much. I understand. Um, just do small. What are you planning on doing? Like what kind of Millsoft is very thick. I have to dilute my Millsoft to dissolve it before putting it in the rinse cycle. Okay. That's a good idea too. That way it will all come out. See, I never thought of that, Robin. That's a good idea. What if you place the dye in tiny strips to allow more room for the splits without getting muddy? It'd still be cohesive. That is that's another, experiment I wanna do. There was a fella and I need to start writing names down. I have my fold table is perfect for, my washable marker to take notes. There were times when I was doing a video and I would write little notes off to the side where you guys really didn't see it, but, I mean, if I wanted to mention somebody's name, if I'm very forgetful, so I'd write their name, like, down on my table, and then I just wash it off. It washes off later, you know what I mean? So, what if you place okay, yeah, so the guy was doing strips like I would my fan folds, and man, the results were gorgeous. You're definitely going to get better flow if you leave room for it, you know? We're still getting flow, but I feel like she's, kind of saying the colors get muddied. Um, if you give it a chance to, that's exactly how I thought my thought process was when I first started doing fan folds and using sinew and putting them on an incline and a gutter. The exact same, the exact same process. Leave room for it to flow and you'll get better results. I need to do that. So maybe some night we can do an experiment. Hey man, maybe even with a fan fold or something and leave white for it to move and put dye all over the fan fold and see what the results are. I've never done that. So this was the dye over, and this was the dye under. Okay. So a lot more purple. Let me zoom in on that. Yeah, see, I was super heavy, but my dye. I'm gonna go back and watch the video again because I was sitting here. Yeah, sorry, Robin. I just did that and then I saw your message. I'm considering galaxy that will bleach the stars. I mean, you're going to have to use Amanda. Do you have black? I know you want color, but um, I usually, when I do a galaxy, I'll put like my color and I'll scrunch my shirt, put a color kind of random, not X, but kind of maybe like a Y or something on the shirt, and then fill that in with black because all of our blacks under ice um, split. So it's not just going to be a straight up black. Uh, thank you. Thank you, Robin, very much. I bought my shirt outside with it, not too fast, maybe too fast. Um, yeah, because I'm sure it's hot down. Nebular Navy. Now that would be cool. I did a Galaxy not too long ago with black and blue, and loved it. Sprayed it with bleach. I had to take the shirt down. I got flack. Woo wee. I ended up taking it down. Um, but anyway, so these are the two shirts. So I always say, let's think of some experiments to do, and then we never do it. At least this time we did. So dye over, dye under, and then way too heavy with the dye. Um, and then this was the example that I showed and we did. This was the first one I did, and this was with Mindbender X and Mindbender B. But like we were saying the other night, if you go real heavy, you're going to lose your colors. Not near as much green. The green's more hidden. and then quite a bit of green and turquoise mix. So, way too heavy-handed. I'm gonna go back and watch that. I was just sitting there talking, just spread and die. But this is a good one. I love my Mender X. I can't help it. I did one of these roll dice with the moose and got crazy through. I did too. I used uh, I used moose and Loden. Moose and Loden together. Wow, man. That was the one of the coolest shirts. And that was it was the second rolled shirt I did, and it was done where I did the video. It was the first rolled shirt I did where you just roll the shirt up like that. And then how did we do that? I can't even remember now. But it was like that. I forget, man. My mind's going blank, but um it was dye over. I did them both dye over with Loden and Moose. And wow. Can you show that one? I did my usual. I don't have uh no, I don't have the Moose. The Moose one because see most of the shirts, most of the work that I do is orders. So I'll make a shirt, post it, and sell like 20 of them and make like 20 of them. And then when I get time, I'll make a different shirt and post it and then sell a few of those, you know what I mean? Like, so most of my work is custom work. And not so much like the fella did the other night, which I did. I liked it, you know, when he was telling me what he wanted. So it was cool. It was a nice challenge, you know. And they all turned out really good. He was super happy and gave me a nice tip and you know, but most of the work I do is, you know, with these, I don't know. I don't know. They're all larges. Anybody wear large? Um, but uh, but yeah, the moose. I know I love moose too. And moose is up there with my favorite color. We had 3 pounds of moose that we bought, and I'm down to 8 ounces of it. And I'm just gonna have to get some more. I heard Dharma came out with they're re-releasing 5 of their collars, like special order collars. They're re-releasing them. I wish Moose was in it. I haven't seen the list, but it would be nice if Moose or Caffeine Buzz was in it because Kathy Grieger, she says that they're basically the same thing, Caffeine Buzz and Moose, but they're both special orders, so it's not like, you know, if you like Moose, you might as well just buy Moose because they're probably the same price. Um, so with these shirts, I definitely like the dye over better, definitely. Now the plum, I'm not super crazy about plum. I think that's why I kind of like Mindbender X. There's not near as much plum in it. And this was one of this is for Faith. I need to get this dress to her. Um, and this is the same roll dress. She wanted to see it on the dress. It was an example from the other night. mine under X, dye under the ice, not near as heavy. So the effects on it are really nice. Um, so I like both style, dye over and dye under. What do you think about Moose, Loden, double fanfold? Moose and Loden would be really cool. They're kind of similar, but I don't know. Loden, I don't know. I like Loden a lot by itself too. I haven't used it by itself. I've got so many dye that I haven't used in so long. Um, and some that I've only used like one time. Here's a Moose. I see a jar from 2022. It's a pound. Um, I ended up liking. They released Moose during Halloween. It was a zombie color, is what they called it. And bought a pound, maybe a pound and a half in 2022, and then about the same in 2023. They released it again in 2023 at Halloween. And I like the texture of the Moose from 2022. It was more powder. It was more easier to work with. It fell off the spoon a lot better. The 2023 was kind of chalky, but um, yeah, both have a yellow undertone. Absolutely. I wish I had that new shirt, but I don't. I sold it a long time ago. I don't even think I have anything around that has new size. I don't know. I have to do a think so. If you guys think of any experiments you want to do, or I'll do them, I don't care. You know what I mean? If you want to see something, let me know. And thanks for any pics of it. Yeah, I have pics of that. I have pics of that shirt. Um, I don't know. They're on my phone now. I have over 10,000 pictures on my phone right now. Most of them are definitely hot eyes. Now, no, I've never done 10,000 shirts, that's for sure. But uh, you have a lot, and a lot of times when I think of a shirt, I have to go back and really search for it. So, but I think I'm gonna end this because I have I have two pillowcases and a fan fold to rinse out and wash and hand wash and all that. And maybe sometimes show my rinsing process. I've done the same way from the very first shirt to now. I've never changed anything about it. And I see people talking about boiling their shirts and soaking them in Dawn for all I it just seems way overkill. Um, I'll have to share my rinse process because it's super easy and it doesn't take very much water and I don't know. I mean, I hand wash it in Dawn, but the Dawn takes grease and obviously dye out of your way, you know. I don't feel the need to soak it or anything. It just comes out. I don't know. I batch my stuff. The longer you batch, the the easier it is to for your rinse process. I mean, it's just a given. It's all residual dye coming out. So, you know, if you have it let it do its thing and it bonds, then the rinse process is pretty easy. So, yeah, thank you, Kaleido Dye, very much. Thanks, Robin. Thank you, Leaf, very much, man. I appreciate it. I look forward to hanging out with you again sometime, man. I had such a good time. I wish we would have had definitely wish we would have had more time. Um, but we'll definitely get together again for sure. And So thanks, Robin, for showing up. Vonda, um, Lee, Amanda, Jeffrey, Lisa Baker, Skater Tie Dye, Shannara, Viv, voting Trump, and God. Thanks, God, for looking in. Appreciate it very much. So have a good night. I love you guys. And if you go out, be safe. All right. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. If you do, name it after me. All right. Have a good night. And we'll do this again. All right. Thanks again. Bye.